Get in here. It's time to get raw. It's time to get down. It's time for the What Are You Doing?
Has arrived.
Oh, boy.
I'm the King of Kings, baby.
I'm
I'm the digger man. I'm burying folks. And I'm burying you guys next week. The picks.
This is just the perfect way to start off a show, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the RAWDOWN. I'm your host, Young Anthony. Boney Khan is to my side. Your RAWDOWN champion, Boney Khan, that is. Marco's having some technical difficulties, but he will be here as soon as possible.
Hey, take that graphic off. The champ is here. The champ is here.
If you want your own title, you can get your own title.
Of course.
Oh, my goodness. Well, folks, we have a loaded show for you here today. A lot of stuff to talk about outside the ropes, a lot of stuff to talk about inside the ropes, including a possible unification match for the WWE and the Universal title, plus some firings, some signings. The boogeyman's coming to get you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God.
I think the most important thing that we have to address here is we've got a birthday bash on our hands.
Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, young Anthony. Hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. I'm not so young Anthony anymore. I'm still young Anthony. I'm 20, but you know.
A year older Anthony.
We're getting there. Just to call out some people. The Call Up Podcast is in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Code Equestria is also in the chat. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. And of course, Tyson TNT himself. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. Welcome in. We've got so much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun one. And we need to just start. We just got to go right into it.
Outside the ropes.
You're fired.
You're fired.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
You're fired. I suppose you're fired. How the hell are you gonna get fired on your day off?
You're fired.
Here comes the pink slip. Here it comes.
Fired. All right. So we kick things off big. A lot of news came in after the Royal Rumble. Different plans that were supposed to be in play. Riddle was apparently supposed to win. Rollins was supposed to be in the match. But the biggest of all was the news that Shane McMahon, the former, I guess the former son of Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon is no longer with the company. That's the biggest story to come out of this week. Shane apparently had a lot to do with the Rumble and caused a lot of backstage heat. He wanted a lot of things to be changed. Apparently he wanted to be in the Final Four, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, he was in the Final Four.
Oh, he was in the Final Four. He wanted a lot of different things to be changed around.
So supposedly what he wanted to be number 29, and Randy Orton was 29, and Randy Orton was like, "You better get your ass out there because I'm not coming out to your music."
Oh my goodness.
So you gotta listen to what Randy Orton says, you know.
That's very true. You do have to, or you'll find something in your bag if you don't. But that's for another mythical legend. Anyways, so everything going on with Shane McMahon now. Is it a work? We always have to ask this here at the RAWDOWN, as we have a run-in at the perfect time. There he is.
He's here.
He's late. Only 5 minutes late.
Yeah, I was so excited to watch the finish of NXT 2.0.
Oh yeah.
It was all worth it. By the way,
more on that in a little bit. But,
I forgot that show was still going on. But
we're talking about Shane McMahon and everything that's come about with him. J-Bone, I want to start with you. You were the one that actually brought this up because I feel like you always gotta mention it. Is it a work? Shane McMahon being fired? What's happening?
Look, here's the thing. You know, Tony said, or my uncle Tony, I'm cousin Boney Shivani. My uncle Tony, he always said everything in wrestling is a work, everything, and he's got a point there. You know, we don't know the ins and outs, man. What a dark side of the ring this is going to be. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Just the relationship of Vince and Shane. It's its own episode.
Yeah. So, is it a work? I mean, I would say probably, but even if it was a work, like what's the outcome here? You know, like you're gonna have Austin Theory. Is this gonna be an built to Austin Theory Shane McMahon match? No. You know, is it gonna build to like, you know, I don't know, you know, a fight with Triple H? I mean, obviously not. Triple H is out on the men's, but I don't know. Like, it's just this is just silly back stage drama. I definitely don't think he's going to go to AEW or like people are talking about.
Yeah,
AEW or an Impact, and there's some crazy shit going. Oh, he's going to show up in Impact. Like, really? He's going to show up in Impact? Like, come on.
Well, that
folks.
comes to the next question: is that like what is next for Shane, if anything, in wrestling? And I guess Marco, I'll come to you on this one, just because you know, a lot of talks about AEW. Sure, I don't think it's going to happen in a million years. What's the likelihood that he starts his own company? Or what's the likelihood that he just shifts away from wrestling altogether? What do you think?
I think it's tough to say. I mean, actually, not really, because he's been away from the business before. You know, he left and moved to like China, and you know, kind of started up almost like a Netflix type of company there.
Yeah.
So he's not. I'm not saying wrestling's not in his blood, and you know that's not his family business. But he seems like he doesn't need the business of wrestling in his life. I mean, so he could easily do something else.
Sure.
If he were to stay in wrestling, I'm with J-Bone. I don't think he's ever going to go to like AEW or anything like
me
that.
neither. Yeah.
If anything, I mean, he would start his own company, or maybe team up with like an Impact or something like that, or maybe an ROH, or just an example. Not like, you know, not that he would, but like, you know, maybe team up with another company that has some type of fuel behind it, some type of like, you know, push. GCW. Imagine that, like Shane McMahon puts the stamp on GCW, since they're kind of gaining ground right now. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see him not being in the wrestling business if all the stuff is like, you know, true, if anything.
True. Tyson says, "Go home and be a husband and a father, Shane, and go be a pawpaw, Vince. Go be a pawpaw, Vince.
Go be a pawpaw."
At least he's not as out of well, I don't know. If you look at that, if you really booked that Rumble, it was pretty bad Rumble.
Yeah, it was a very bad Rumble.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's one thing with Shane, like, you know, he noticed ECW early on, brought that influence into the WWE and the Attitude Era, right?
Yep.
So he could pick up on certain things like that. I could see him buying like an ROH, you know, trying to make that, you know, revive that company. Yeah. And it's an established company, 20 years, right? They're doing the Hall of Fame stuff now. You know, Sinclair, they don't really want to do anything with it. So who's to say that Shane, you know, with certain ties, I'm sure he's got television ties somewhere, he could purchase ROH and make it something, you know. It's gonna have to take. It would definitely. It's not gonna be like tomorrow. Obviously, it would take years down the road. But who's to say he wouldn't do that? You know, I would think that would be more of Shane's future than doing anything in WWE. I think this could be at least for a while last hurrah for Shane.
Yeah, if anything, I could see him in maybe ROH taking a few maybe some type of authoritative position there, or kind of just helping the rebrand of it all together. I don't think Impact or AEW needs Shane McMahon, although it would definitely be very enticing to see.
Yeah,
but I think the only company I would like to see GCW as well, but I think ROH needs someone like Shane McMahon. ROH.
Jesus Christ, I think maybe we need a little work there.
For sure we do. For sure we do.
That's great.
But hey, I mean, there's so much that you could talk about Shane, and I think we're gonna have to wait and see what goes on. Tyson actually brings up a good point talking about the ROH. Bryan Danielson in the ROH Hall of Fame. I know we're not a ROH show here, but hey, it's always a good thing to mention. And Chad in the chat, if ROH would be on the table to buy, and Tony Khan caught wind of Shane's interest, would Tony Khan buy it to prevent Shane from buying it? Good question. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I would like to see Tony buy it just for the library. So, like, whenever they do start this AEW network thing, whatever they're going to do, their streaming service, they would have that on there. But, and I'm sure like the Bucks and Cody and those folks will have that kind of like pull for that. Like, hey, buy ROH, buy it for the intellectual property and all that stuff. But I don't know if it's like a great business move for Tony. Like overall, I think he just needs to focus on building AEW as like the next WWE. I know that's going to take years and years and years, but that's what he needs to focus on. The tape, like I'm seeing what Chad's saying right now. The tape library would be great, but I don't know. I don't know if he needs it. So, but if he's going to just do it out of stopping Shane, again, I don't know how that's not really a good business move either.
Yeah. And here's my thing, and this might be a
hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I would much rather see Shane McMahon in charge or have an authoritative role in ROH than I would see Tony Khan. From what Tony Khan has been doing with the Forbidden Door as of late, I know we're a very AEW-centric channel, but I need to be real when I can be real.
Yep.
What WWE did for Impact with Mickie James in one entrance alone was more than what Tony Khan did for the Forbidden Door for at least Impact alone. You can talk about New Japan, and that's another story. But
it was pretty good.
Tony Khan buying ROH or having some sort of role in ROH is for what we're talking about right now, the tape library. But if ROH wants to go in the right direction, then you need someone like Shane who has the ideas, who has the experience. You need someone like him. Sure, the money is great for a tape library, but ROH was built on the basis of providing great, pure wrestling. Shane McMahon is the perfect mind for that. I would much rather have a McMahon in charge than I would have Tony Khan right now. That's just me.
I agree. Actually, and we could look at the recent booking right now at AEW too. I mean, it hasn't been great. I know this is not an AEW show, but Shane's booking obviously wasn't great either. But I think what does a McMahon do best? They put the right people around him. Mm-hmm. Vince is getting to that point. He doesn't have the right people around him right now, but he can. Shane can definitely do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only thing I would add to this too is like the whole Shane McMahon Royal Rumble thing. For what I've been reading, he was potentially going to be like a major part in WrestleMania. Kind of like he was going to be like kind of one of the celebrity attractions, like a co-main event, if you will. Yeah. So my thing for the Royal Rumble match is, maybe I'm kind of looking at it from this angle. Maybe he wasn't, booking that Royal Rumble match. Maybe like signals got crossed, mixed messages and stuff like that. If he was supposed to be like an integral part of WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, then maybe he was booking like him. He had to book himself essentially to be that like attraction to the WrestleMania. I'm assuming anyway.
And that's fine, but that's where that's the downfall of a booker. We know that from history. History has always told us that.
Yeah, I mean,
You
and like
know?
maybe he got like the wrong, maybe he got the wrong. Maybe
Yeah,
he was
maybe.
told like, "Hey, you're supposed to be the main attraction for WrestleMania. Make sure you look good in this Rumble." But then like he's trying to carry this message to everyone else, and they're just like, "What the hell are you talking about? You're just trying to put yourself over, bro."
Yeah.
And then like maybe they weren't told, because I don't think anyone's told anything in WWE personally when it comes down to a match.
My question is
Um,
like, what the hell is Bruce Pritchard doing over there nowadays?
I can't
I
even tell you.
couldn't even tell
I'm sorry,
you. Yeah.
I cut you off.
I wish I could.
I'm so sorry, Marco. I had a delay in mine, and I cut you off. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
But because Bruce Pritchard, he used to book the Rumble, like
Yeah.
him and Pat Patterson.
Yep.
Why is it Bruce Pritchard booking the Rumble? You know.
Well, I guess recently it's been like Triple H. I think Triple H, Shane McMahon, and Bruce Pritchard. I think like third, like in that. But now obviously Triple H is gone.
Right.
He hasn't been, there since his surgery. And
you know, it was Tyson Kidd.
Yeah,
Kidd
so like Tyson Kidd. So you have a new crew, like I said, they probably weren't communicating. There was probably mixed.
Well, Shane
messages,
booked
big notes,
this Rumble
like that.
too. I saw the list. They had all the people that produced all the matches, and Shane was
Yep.
one of the producers for this match.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Tyson was also. I think Abyss was one of the
right
producers
Yep.
as well. A few other guys that I can't remember, but I know Shane was one of them, which is really something that stood out to me.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, I want to wait a little bit on further Shane talks just to see like where it goes.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't even go anywhere. We talk about ROH, we talk about AEW. Who knows? Maybe he'll just step away from wrestling for a while and then reappear
That's ultimately
in another
what
10 years. You know,
that's ultimately what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna step away for a couple of years, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, sounds about right. But let's move on to our next topic. And J-Bone, you wanted to bring this topic to the table, and it sounded really interesting. So I'm going to let you take the reins on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a problem. I feel like in WWE booking. Now, let me preface this too, real quick, because I do feel like here within like last month and so, the booking has been pretty good, actually, in WWE.
A lot of long-term storytelling.
However, one thing I'm having a lot of trouble, and Chad brought this up in our group chat, and I was thinking it as well too, and it's the fact that they don't know how to, have for certain people, like they have so many tweeners, as far as total line between babyface and heels. Now you have a couple folks on the men and women side that are straight heels, and then a couple of folks on the men and women side are straight babyfaces. But then you have a group of people, for instance, AJ Styles. Never, like, he'd been doing this heel, now he's like fading to babyface. It's like they're scared to pull the trigger in case they want to go back. And then same thing with Kevin Owens now, Does that hurt does that affect the storyline in your opinion?
Just to clarify, yes, it was Chad that brought this up. It wasn't you, Bone. I'm giving you credit for it. Something you didn't even come up with. But yes,
hey, that's
Chad
why
did.
I brought it up.
That's very true. But
Too
Chad
much
did come up with this question. So yes, is WWE confusing you with their heels and their baby faces? That is a good question. Marco, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure if it's confusing. I think it's, I know some people are just natural heels. Like, to me, Kevin Owens is definitely likable as a babyface, but I think he's way better as a heel. Like, just let him loose and let him kick the shit out of people, all that type of stuff. Another name came to mind now too is Seth Rollins. He's even expressed that on one of the Raw, like the Raw. I think the Raw was where he was turning into that, like, the Messiah type of thing. He's kind of like the same thing. He's kind of like a tweener as well. Like, he was obviously a heel for the most of his run. Turned babyface. The fans kind of turned on him for some reason. Don't know why. Possibly the Becky Lynch coupling. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But then, like, but now it seems like he's definitely a heel. Like, his character is a heel, but he's doing babyface things, like coming out with the outlandish, like, fashion sense, and kind of like playing to the crowd. And yeah, you're definitely right. It's they do have a lot of tweeners that are that they don't just pull the trigger on and just go like Miz is like they're only like kind of like full heel. Like, I mean,
Right.
Yeah. And
Well,
that I
here's
can think
my
of
thing.
off the top of my head anyway.
My thing is that you talked about how WWE's booking has been very solid as of late, and I definitely agree. I think the long-term storytelling, there's a lot more long-term stories than any other company has right now, and I think that WWE has their best booking that they've had in months. When it comes down to it, WWE, I would say, has the most vocal crowd in any wrestling company. You can make the argument for AEW, but for me personally, I would say that WWE is very, has a, I guess it's because it's the larger fan base. It has a very vocal crowd.
Are you talking about on social media?
On social media,
Everywhere,
in
yeah.
the crowds.
I'll actually add to that after when you're done.
Yeah. What I'm really trying to get at is like they're very unpredictable, I guess is the way you can see it. You know, they'll hate Goldberg on Twitter, but in the arenas, they're chanting for Goldberg.
Yeah.
You can't predict a WWE crowd. Is it the WWE's fault when they are booking someone to be a heel, like Kevin Owens? He's straight on heel as they are presenting him. Is it the WWE's fault that they are presenting him as a heel, but the fans just love Kevin Owens so much that the fans are going to present him as a face? I necessarily don't think that Kevin Owens has been booked as a face. I think he's been straight up heel the last few months ever since he turned on Big E.
Yeah.
But because the fans are so well accustomed to Kevin Owens, they're going to gravitate towards him. That's not the WWE's fault, to be completely honest. You know, the WWE is doing as much as they can. They can't control the crowd as much as they would like to with some piped in crowd noises and whatever. But that's really what it comes down to, is that, they'll do all they can in the story, but what resonates with the crowd is what's going to happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that in the case of Kevin Owens. However, in the case of Monday Night Raw last night, which we will get to, but he was like working as a babyface in that match.
Yeah,
that's
true.
You know, that's true.
Against
so that's why I brought KO up specifically, because and that's where it gets confusing. Like, especially like with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, she'll come out and be like, "Oh, hello Cleveland, it's great to be here," and then she'll be like, "Oh, the Cavs suck," and then the next sentence, or it's like, I don't understand. Like, it's almost like they're afraid to let's make the change, but let's see how it goes. We'll make him a tweener, and then if it's not, we'll bring it right back to where we're at.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's kind of like what they're doing, like what they're seeming like what they're doing with Becky right now. Like they're like, oh, let's see how they're feeling. I know Marco wants to get into it, but then they stash her back on the heel side. But if they want, they'll push her back. And that's what happened with the Dewdrop angle. Yeah. You had basically a tweener and a heel in that program.
Need to understand that WWE does not care what fans talk about on Twitter.
You're right.
Until what is talked about on Twitter is put on TV via the fans chanting it, they do not care.
Right. Yes, exactly.
There are more people that are going to tune into their content by flipping through the channels than there are people interacting with it on Twitter. If people hate Goldberg on Twitter, but people are chanting Goldberg in the stands, what do you think they're going to gravitate towards? It makes them look better on TV. So, hey, let's put Goldberg in a big match against Roman Reigns because the crowd loves him. It doesn't matter what social media says. Until Goldberg is starting to get booed. I'll give you an instance. Kofi Mania. Fans were chanting for Kofi in the stands, but it started on social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the two area or the yes movement, the same thing. That's when the two areas blend. Until the WWE sees that blend, like the give divas a chance, the yes movement, they don't care about social media. You can type away all you want. You have 280 characters. They don't give a fuck. Go buy a ticket.
That's a T-shirt
chant for your guy. That's how you're going to get noticed.
And I was going to actually add to that. Like, he actually brought up that point. Like you said, you can type away Twitter fingers all day long. They're not gonna see it. Obviously, they're on there because they're gonna post stuff. And they might do those like the ticker at the bottom where they're like, throwing someone's tweet up there, but they're not going for those like people that are complaining about WWE. They're
Exactly. They
put
get
all
the
the fun
good
stuff up there.
tweets and stuff. That's all they're looking for.
And the other part of that too is when he said like, I think like what Anthony meant was WWE crowd is more vocal, meaning they're gonna express the hate and they're gonna express the love of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Not any like you said, we're on a very AEW centric channel.
Yeah.
But I have yet to see, or maybe I choose not to see an AEW fan shit on AEW yet. I have not. I mean, I might be looking. I might be following the wrong people. I might be looking in the wrong areas. But any negativity towards AEW is not seen, for me anyway, on social media. So when Anthony says, the WWE crowd's more vocal, you get both sides. You get the people that love WWE, and you get the people that shit on it.
Yeah,
but that's why he's saying they're more vocal. I think anyway.
No, you're spot on. That's 100% what I meant.
Yeah, but as far as them booking talent with this tweener stuff, okay, like you mentioned, like okay, Kevin O, or let's use a different example, AJ Styles, right?
Yep.
Okay, AJ Styles, he was a heel when he was with almost a wrestler, and play this heel like this, just real squirrely dude who always got away. But he's like starting to creep over to the babyface side. But he's not like full babyface because now he's in a program with Damian Priest, who's also a tweener.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't know which way they want to go with their talent. And I think it has something to do with how thin the roster is too.
Yeah.
That way they can make it more fluid. Like,
yep.
You have heels and baby faces. You have a list of them planning out. Hey, if I got a couple of guys that are tweeners, that make it fluid, and then that way I can snap a finger, go one way. Mm-hmm. But is that effective booking?
I think you also have to take into consideration that WWE is always going to be a story. It's never going to be the fans writing the story unless, like I said before, the fans are actually vocal about it in the stands. When I see something like Styles and Priest, which is a great example, because even I was confused as to why we're seeing Styles and Priest going at each other, I feel like this is going to lead to one of those guys turning heel. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that it can turn out to, and if it doesn't, that'll be pretty weird. I think this is also kind of a Rumble 94 situation where Brett and Luger wins and they leave it up to the fans to decide. I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where if they like Priest and Priest gets more cheers, they're going to go for Priest. But if Styles gets more cheers, they're going to go for Styles.
Yep.
They want to make sure that they're telling the most efficient story possible. Right now, AJ Styles is in the best situation that he can be right now because the fans are cheering for him. So they want to make sure that he is in that spotlight. But Priest has been over for the last few months, and he's getting well adjusted to this character. But he's in a character that can flip-flop. He could be a face,
literally
he could be a heel. Exactly.
It literally is.
So something like this, you really need to let it take shape. Something like Kevin Owens, like we mentioned.
I agree.
I would say another story.
Yeah.
Because that's something like, is he a heel? Is he going more for face? Maybe they're going to turn him face. We saw it with Doudrop not too long ago that they just turned turned her randomly. And that's just what they do. But it's all part of the story. I think they need to fans need to be able to see that story play out. I want to get to some comments because we have a very active comment section tonight. Yeah. Tyson says, we were supposed to have Goldberg versus Roman at Mania 2 years ago. Yes, we were. And the fans cheered it when the two of them went face to face before the pandemic hit. Just wanted to throw that in there. Circle of Debate. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Much appreciated. Much love from the League of Extraordinary Podcast.
Yep.
Chad says, feed is full of cult of Cornette AEW hating fans. They're out there.
I mean, they are, but they're Cornette fans, so they're gonna hate AEW.
They're
Just on the hardcore like AEW fans,
Double cheese,
legit love and hate AEW for things. Yeah,
double mayo, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I see them fans too. They're just echoing whatever Cornette says. They're not real haters.
Code Equestria says WWE is the hashtag machine. Positive or negative doesn't matter. Exactly.
Yep.
They're always going to get engagement. I think that's the biggest thing. Circle of Debate, I agree, but we will wait till after Elimination Chamber to see what direction WWE is heading. Yes, I also agree. There's a lot of different things that you could see at Elimination Chamber. I think you just have
they're
to
in a big holding pattern.
Yeah,
I just don't think they know it seems like they don't know like what the hell is going to happen with WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think they're starting to see it take shape, but still, it's like until Elimination Chamber hits, or at least 3 weeks until Mania, you're not going to know what's going on.
We literally have 2 matches booked for Mania, and that's all they know. That's all they care about right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Ace Field Retro. Much appreciated. Circle of Debate also says Priest is heading towards that direction of turning heel. I think so. I feel like if you turn Styles heel, if they're gonna go with Priest, that would make the most sense as to turn him heel. Thanks for stopping by. Ace Field says Chad, and just finished my interview with Jack Tomlinson from Creative Pro Wrestling.
Awesome.
And figured I'd pop in and say, hey, thanks for coming by. Hope you stick around. We got 7 viewers right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you stick around because we have so much more WWE content to get to. And before we get to our last, we're going to get to our last Outside the Ropes segments because we've got a new signing, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
He's back, baby. Oh, he's back.
Oh, boy.
The Boogeyman posted on his Twitter that he has signed a new contract for the WWE. Signed it Marty right on the dotted line.
Nice.
God. Could we see Boogeyman in the Hall of Fame?
Well, does it have to provide his age again?
40. 40.
Oh, man.
Oh man! Any thoughts on Boogeyman signing a new contract?
I mean, I don't know.
What could you say?
Green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a shit? You know.
I know. Oh boy.
No, I mean, one thing that kind of perturbs me a little bit. We talked about off air. I know he's not a big money contract. Okay, these legend deals they're not big money, but you just got rid of 100 fucking wrestlers over the past year. And you're going to sign Marty Wright to a freaking Legends deal?
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get
you. I mean, like, they were all budget cuts, right? So we're gonna let's sign Marty Wright.
Jeez.
Anyways,
yeah, they have some type of plan for him. Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Just a question before we move on, because I brought it up to J-Bone, and I feel like it's worth mentioning because we've seen weirder people get inducted, but could he be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I think it's a very, very strong possibility.
It's a very strong possibility. I don't know.
This WrestleMania is going to be I think it's going to be a very weird WrestleMania, personally. The Hall of Fame is going to be weird. The whole show itself, it just, I don't know, just seems very odd.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
I love these. Shout out to Chad for these new drops. They will definitely be making things a lot more fun here at the RAWDOWN. But that's gonna do it for the Outside the Ropes talk. Leave us in the comments. What do you think about the Boogeyman coming back? Do you see Shane McMahon starting up his own wrestling company? And I don't know. What else do you want to say? We got 7 people in here. Let me see 7 comments.
Hey, let's get that drop of McMahon. What does he like to ruin?
I enjoy destroying lives.
Always good. Always
Rings
a good
true
reminder.
to this day.
Always a good reminder. It is time for Marco's favorite segment of the week.
Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and busters.
I mean, the only saving grace is that intro is awesome. So
He's gotta puke! He's gotta puke!
So, what'd you think of NXT, bud?
So you know what? It wasn't too bad. Obviously, there was my Wendy Chu. She made an appearance, but other than that, it wasn't. They're kind of like they're building up towards the February 15th, which is the NXT Vengeance. So there's a lot of stuff happening there. So it wasn't too bad. Oh,
Matt's in the
geez.
cooler with
God
a great
no,
call.
Matt, don't wish that into existence.
Yes.
Don't do that. Have Alexa eating worms and stuff like that.
Shit.
Probably like
Tyson also says if Coco beware can be in the Hall of Fame, so can the Boogeyman.
you get a point, Tyson. Yeah, he's right. He's right about that.
So I saw Dolph Ziggler was on the show tonight. What did we think of that?
Yeah, so we would actually talk about that like a lot on the Chick Foley show, like having just like not just Dolph Ziggler, but other WWE superstars showing up and getting involved in storylines, kind of like how AJ Styles did. But we talk about Dolph Ziggler a lot going down to NXT, and it finally happened. It seems like there's going to be like a 4-way match between Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa, Dolph Ziggler, and I always forget his name, the Santos Escobar. So it was basically supposed to be this like a kind of like a contract signing between Santos and Braun, but then Dolph Ziggler comes out, and then Tommaso Ciampa came out, and then obviously there's brawls at the end, and so it seems like they're setting up a 4-way match for the title at Vengeance, which I mean I'm not opposed to. I love Dolph Ziggler. He's definitely one of the best workers that they have there. So
I'm surprised that they would go the 4-way route instead of just doing like a singles match with Ziggler, because I feel like Ziggler gets lost in the shuffle then. With you,
so like but the weird thing is too is like Tommaso, like it seems like so like last week he wanted to be like a partner to Braun, but then this week he wants a shot at the title. So I have no clue what they're. So but anyway, semifinals for the Dusty Cup. We had the Creed brothers versus the Grizzled Young Vets.
Who's gonna win the aggro crag?
The Creed brothers won, so they're moving on to the finals. So hope they might be winning the aggro crag. Who knows? You got a piece of the aggro crag. But
I forgot about that.
Then oh my god, the next match, Tiffany Stratton, which is that like she's like kind of like the rich girl gimmick there, against Wendy Chu, the sleepy girl.
He's gotta puke! He's gotta puke!
You're gonna puke because this match was a daddy's credit card match.
I can't.
Daddy's
We make movies.
Yeah, this was a
I can't do it
though.
I can't do it.
But yeah, so little backstory: Wendy Chu stole Daddy's credit card from Tiffany last week, and so tonight was a match to get it back. But that's basically it. We don't have to go.
How
any
did she
further.
fucking steal it if she's always asleep?
Listen, bro, what we gotta do here, bro, is we gotta give the person who doesn't have the card, they gotta get the card, bro. That gets them tuning in next week, bro. And then we gotta put the card on the poll, bro.
Jeez. It wasn't on a poll, but I mean, they should have just. It would have been more exciting if they actually did.
You might as well just throw it up on a fucking poll.
Jeez.
God damn it.
So we'll move on. After that, we were saved by Pete Dunne. Him and Draco Anthony. They're slaying us as well. We can't even like get through like a segment without like laughing hysterically right now. But yeah, so Pete Dunne and Draco went at it, and obviously Pete Dunne won with the bitter end. He dropped him on his back, and the bitter end. Then we had LA Knight and Sanga. LA Knight wins. We had a couple of promos for our coming people, Nikita Lyons or whatever her name is, Blah, blah, blah.
Speaking of Nikita Lyons,
Yes.
I did get a chance to check out that promo that happened last week, and I
Yes.
think this is actually I mean it when I say it this
He's
time.
got to puke! He's got to puke!
That was the worst thing that I ever
Yeah,
saw.
pretty
NXT
bad.
has produced a lot of bad things this past year.
Yeah.
That promo, what? J-Bone, did you see it by any chance?
It was on NXT, of course not.
it was
Marco,
pretty-
you saw it though.
It was bad. This week they continued it with her background.
Was she
of
singing
fighting.
this week? Was
No. So last
keep
week
the
was her.
same energy with me. Keep the same energy with me.
Yeah. So no, last week they focused on her singing ability. This week they focused on her fighting ability. So
Oh,
she was using
I see.
nunchucks and
She's
know,
a Swiss
punching a heavy
Army knife,
bag.
if you will.
Yeah. So
What
She's
a
a-
gimmick.
her gimmick's
Who's this
basically she's like a daughter of a rock or traveling band or something. I don't know.
Christ.
I'm not. We gotta finish this. I'm not going any further. Anyway, Edris
Tell me, I
Enoff.
didn't just see that.
Shuck and duck and quack quack. So Edris Enoff and Malik Blade versus MSK. This is the other semifinals match.
Okay.
MSK wins. So basically, it's MSK versus the Creed brothers for the Aggro Crag at Vengeance. So
Not
that should
bad,
be
not
actually
bad.
really pretty good match there. We had Dakota Kai and Saray. Saray wins. Then the main event was Mandy Rose and Kaylee Ray for the Women's NXT Championship. Mandy Rose wins via cheating from Toxic Attraction, and that was the end of it. We see the return of Io Shirai as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
I-
Io
there's
Shirai
something
returned
there.
to save to save that match essentially.
Save
And,
us.
Yeah, save us like Y2J.
Yeah.
Save us Y2EO.
Marco, this might be one of your final weeks of doing the NXT report, as long
Please.
as next week you are able to get your Elimination Chamber predictions correct. Because yes, Boney, we are on the road to WrestleMania, which can only mean one thing. The RAWDOWN Predictions Championship will be on the line, as your Elimination Chambers predictions will be held next week. Where's the title? Here's the title. The title will be up for grabs.
This is the title.
There's
I'm-
the title.
I'm the real world champion.
He has got the title. He's got the title. Folks, next week you need to tune in. We thought the Rumble was going to be hard to predict. The Elimination Chamber is going to be equally, might be even harder,
Yeah.
because we have a few stipulations to add in. But we'll talk about that next week,
Oh,
because
boy.
we always gotta leave you in suspense. As
My sign's not on fire, by the way.
thank God. We don't have the budget for 2 fires here at the tavern. I do want to get to some comments before we move on. A lot of comments that I missed here. Let me go through this. Circle of Debate says the goal is to fill the seats for night 1 and night 2. So the question is, who will main event night 1 and 2? And also, what storylines are they going to do for Mania? If I was Vince, I would book AJ versus
100%.
Edge for Mania.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think that's the way you got to go for sure.
Yep.
Circle of Debate also says this Mania is already weird enough. Not announcing the main headline for the
Yep.
Hall of Fame, but it should be Taker. Yes, I agree.
Should
They're
be.
in
It's gotta
Texas.
be.
It's got to be Taker.
Yeah.
Acefield Retro with a pair of comments. I agree with Boney about the disrespect of signing
Of course he
useless
does.
guys, but releasing talented dudes during a pandemic.
Yep.
Company made $1 billion and yet still has budget cuts. Shaking my head. No one cared about Boogeyman in
Shaking my
2006 when he first came in, and no one cares now. WWE can keep him, but give AEW Keith Lee and Gargano. Please. I cared about the Boogeyman, not in 2006 because I wasn't watching around then, but
God.
YouTube
Oh,
is a hell
man.
of a website, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen?
Jeez.
Code Equestria calls it 90210 NXT. I'm too young to get that reference, so I hope someone else can fill me in on that. Tyson says Wendy took her from opponent last
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the credit card. Daddy's
Yeah.
credit card.
Matt's in the cooler wants me to use. He wants me to use the Russo voice, bro. I don't know if I I don't know if I could use it the whole time, bro. That's a
Please
little
no.
bit too much. Subscribe to the Russo brand. All right. Eastfield Retro said a lot of comments. I got to make sure I'm up to date on these comments. But thinking of making watching NXT for 10 weeks exclusively as a fantasy football punishment, it's that bad right now. Well, thankfully we have MVP Marco to take that. I feel bad for Marco. He comes in, we do the WWE name change on him that we call him the MVP Marco.
Yeah.
And now we book him bad. This is just the worst NXT call up for you, isn't it? God.
Oh man, yeah. I do feel like a old school NXT talent right now.
I know.
Not getting over with the fans right now.
I hope Sheena and Seth never come to the RAWDOWN. God knows what they'll be jobbing to J-Bone or something. Tyson says the Creed brothers winning the Dusty Cup. I think it's got to happen. I think you got to have one of those younger talents win. And final comment before we move on to our final segment. Excuse me, Boney. I'm the real world champion. My championship isn't missing a side flag. I didn't even fucking notice that. That's hilarious.
Wow, he called you out on that.
I have a championship over there that is not missing a side plate as well, and you are a fraudulent champion. So I think
I'm still a world champion. It doesn't.
I
even
think
matter.
my odds. I think the odds are in my favor for next week. Is all I'm going to say. But
I just threw that belt around like Steve Austin did. Just threw it into the ring, slanging it.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man! It's time! It's time! It's finally time for the main event.
Who won the week?
All right, let's get this over with. Raw versus SmackDown this week. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff that we don't really care happened. But I want to talk because this was originally going to be one of our Outside the Rope segments, but we bumped it to Who Won the Week, Raw versus SmackDown. So the likelihood of a unification match at WrestleMania is still there. It is still very much there. Brock Lesnar was added to the Elimination Chamber last week. And he also has mentioned wanting to do a title for title match. So, we've talked many times about the unification match and if it's going to happen, if it's not going to happen. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I want to know your percentages of how confident you are that we will see a unification match at WrestleMania. I am going to be right in the middle, just a bit. I am 51% certain we will not see a unification match. 49% certain we will. Boney, what are your numbers?
I'm going to say 20% we will not see unification.
Wow. All right.
Because although I think there's still a likelihood, a chance, I don't think they want to do that because a couple of reasons. How do you book the Bobbies, the Riddles, the Seths, those championship contenders? How do you book them for Mania, for one thing?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the whole storyline of what they did to screw Brock out of the deal and we have him in the Rumble and so you can face Roman, that makes absolutely no sense. Of course, we're talking about WWE, so who knows? Yeah. But it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you go through all that? Why would you take the title off of Brock just to put it back on him so you can unify it? It just doesn't make sense. However, there's a chance. So that I will say that I'm not picking Brock Lesnar next week. My pick can change, but as of right now, I'm not picking Brock Lesnar.
Marco, what's the likelihood as far as a percentage that we will see a unification match at WrestleMania?
Man, he has a very good points there. I'm probably more with you, Anthony, on that. I'm kind of like I'm 50-50. I'm not 51%. I'm 50-50 on both.
Closer than it's ever been. I will say that. Right now, it's right there.
There's too many like roadblocks in between. Like you said, the booking of everyone else. I'm not really worried about the main event main event matches for both nights because definitely one night you're getting Ronda and Charlotte.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
you can throw that out. They're main eventing one of the nights of Mania, probably the first night, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
So you technically could do a unification match the second night. That's the thing.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, the way I look at it is, do you really want to go the same route that they went with last year? That you start the show with the WWE title, you end night one with the SmackDown Women's title, and you end night two with the Universal title. Is that really the way we're going to be going about this every year?
Yeah,
so that might do it.
But then there's the other factor, and the factor is a bald man with a graying goatee.
That is what we're going to get into right now before some comments. Acefield says it's overkill and the match doesn't need it. It is the program with the most momentum behind it. I think it's 35% chance it does happen, though. That's still a pretty good percentage. Yeah. I don't know. Tyson says that we aren't going to be getting the unification. Matt's in the cooler says they're going to unify. Wouldn't you get the sense that they would unify the women's as well? Charlotte as the mystery entrant into the women's chamber. That's a good possibility. We're going to talk about the mystery entrant during this segment, but something
it's me.
I mean, just to add to that, I don't think they would do that, mainly because the way they're named. So you have the Raw Women's Champion, you have the SmackDown Women's Champion. You don't have a Raw Men's Champion and a SmackDown Men's Champion. Like they didn't name it that way, so they can technically unify those titles and have no issue with it and have like their respective brands. Maybe down the line make it a women's championship, but right where they're named for the respective shows, I don't think it's like necessary right now to do so. But I think they just want to get rid of the Universal title personally. That's I'm hoping anyway, please.
I think they want to get rid of the WWE Championship
and make the Universal Championship the main, like only
unify them together and then make it be the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
That's a pretty big hot take, but I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, I always think the Universal is the lesser of the two.
It's the Universal, pal.
With the history of the WWE Championship.
Oh, I agree. Like I'm a big, WWE champion mark, but I think they feature the Universal Championship way more. I mean, it's on the A show. Mm-hmm. It always has been. Either if it was Raw, if Raw was the A show, it was on Raw.
Yep.
On SmackDown, it was on SmackDown. If SmackDown's A show is on SmackDown. And then look how they booked. They especially here recently, like the last year. I mean, the way they booked the WWE title, it's just been like, good Lord, it's been bonkers. Yeah. We had just in the past year, we had Drew, Miz, Bobby, Big E, Brock, and now Bobby. Six title changes in the last year for the WWE title.
Yeah, you're right.
And honestly, I wouldn't put it past them just because of the fact that over the last decade or so, the WWE has done everything in their power to try and move away from the idea that they're a wrestling company.
Yeah.
Sports entertainment, pal.
Yeah.
So, with a world heavyweight champion being your main championship, I think they would rather go the route of a universal championship.
Yeah, and then just to add to that, just thinking, obviously it's the WWE Universe.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't even think about wow.
Yeah, since they that's definitely you're the champion of the WWE Universe. Like
we make movies.
We make movies.
So confident in that clip. Make movies. Make movies, pal. God damn it.
We make movies, pal. God damn it.
But yeah, if they do unify, man, J-Bone's kind of saying that, man. He's kind of leaning towards they are unifying it.
Sweet mother of God. It's the perfect evolution of beard growth. It's coming in. It's coming in.
Yeah, man. That's
Polar Nights. Welcome. I hope you stick around. Hope you're a wrestling fan.
I was what I was gonna say is if they are gonna unify, they're gonna make the Universal title.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely
belt.
see that.
Yeah, but I'm still leaning towards not because, man, that's a whole lot of story that they just wasted. For what? Yeah. Just for Paul to turn on him, green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, geez, like that would be horrible. Like, I think they're smarter than that. I really do, and I know that
We
might
have
be giving them
some,
credit.
We have some comments here. Circle of Debate says, now about unification of what you guys mentioned, night 1 winners faced each other in night 2, like New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom style. That could be
Ooh,
possible.
yeah.
How and what? Here's the thing, and I might as well throw in one of these. This one.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I hate 2-night events. I hate the way that New Japan does it even more because they use the same wrestlers on both nights. And I understand that, 2 guys fight on one night, the winner faces the next guy. It's a cool concept. The whole point of a 2-night event is so that you get all these guys on the card and you don't have to do a 5 to 6 hour show.
Yeah.
Why would you put the same guys on both shows? Instead, just make one super card and just include those guys. So when you say, Ivan, about doing it the way that New Japan does it, I could see it. It would be interesting, but I wouldn't want to go for 2 nights of WrestleMania, and I'm going to be there in person. I'm not paying money to see 2 nights of the same people. In that case, I would just buy 1 night, and then I would take a flight home on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's just my thing. But
I see your point. I mean, it would have to be a select few for me. That way, you could continue a storyline going from night 1 to night 2.
Exactly.
A very, very select few. Like if you do kind of like a Brett Luger situation, like they did WrestleMania 10. Have so like Luger faced Yokozuna first, right? Have Luger face Yokozuna, then Yokozuna would go on to face Brett the next night, or whatever,
Yeah, like that warrants something like a 2-night event, I would say.
Right. If you're gonna do something, some type of story angle similar to that, I'm fine with it. In fact, I would prefer it, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Because it would at least make it like sense, like have this 2-night event.
Exactly.
Now it's like we're just gonna put Dana Brooke on there, give her fucking 10 minutes. Like who cares?
So crazy.
Dana Brooke. Jeez.
Dana Brooke, man. Acefield Retro says, watch them take the title off of Roman after Brock screws him. Goldberg wins in Saudi Arabia is always a chance, which we'll get to. We'll get to in just a moment. Don't you worry. We'll be talking about that one.
Wild card.
We make movies, pal. We make movies. Code Equestria's got some thoughts that he's thinking about. And let's move on to the bald-headed genius he is. Goldberg has popped in once again. You know what? I might as well run through the quick results of SmackDown and Raw before we get into any more specifics. Yep. Goldberg interrupts the Bloodline as we run down some SmackDown results. We had what else happened? I was about to say Rikishi. Rikishi was not on the show. Ricochet was on the show. Ricochet defeats Holland. Holland and Sheamus defeat Ricochet and Cesaro. We have one of the Usos. I believe it was Jimmy defeating Eric. Another Aaliyah defeating Natalia thing, which I can't do it anymore. Drew McIntyre did stuff with Madcap Moss, which I can't do anymore. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Jinder Mahal in a SummerSlam 2017 rematch. Does anyone remember that? New Day defeats Los Lotharios, and Ronda Rousey selects Charlotte to be her opponent at WrestleMania. Let's move on to Raw real quick. We have the Quiz Bowl, which was what it was. They never put the results for Bleacher Report on Raw, only SmackDown. I believe Alpha Academy defeated the Street Profits. AJ Styles defeated Damian Priest. We had a Miz TV that led to Dominic rolling up the Miz. We had, what else did we have? Bianca Belair defeating Nikki Ash, Nikki ASH, if you will. My favorite wrestler. I won't do the accent. Kevin Owens stuns Austin Theory for the win. Doudrop defeats Liv Morgan. And what was the main event here? Seth Rollins hits Riddle with the curb stomp for a win in a tag team match. Owens and Rollins defeat RK Bro. All right, let's talk about Goldberg. We talked about it a little bit off camera, me and Boney. Is Goldberg versus Roman a draw? Marco, I want to hear from you first. We were going to see this match 2 years ago, and then COVID hit, did its darndest, and here we are seeing it in Saudi Arabia. Are you excited for this match? Do you think that it's a draw? Obviously, it's a draw in Saudi Arabia, but what do you think?
I mean, I love Goldberg, so there's no Goldberg hate for me. I know a lot of people hate him now. I mean, he was awesome back in the day, just steamrolling everybody. 2 years ago, definitely they did have it as the main event match for WrestleMania, but obviously COVID happened.
Yep.
But for me, it's a draw. I mean, I've been waiting. Here's a thing. So like, he had that bad performance with obviously Undertaker, and then the Drew McIntyre match wasn't that great. But then comes along Bobby Lashley, and that match that they had was that was amazing. They fought all over the arena. So I really think it depends on the opponent that you put Goldberg in front of, and I think Roman Reigns is that guy. So I definitely think it'll be a draw. It's going to be a draw, that match. I think it's definitely a draw in my opinion.
That's fair. I have confidence that Roman will get a good match out of Goldberg. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun match. They just have to do the typical Goldberg versus Brock at WrestleMania 5-minute
spare, jackhammer, take the Universal title. No, I'm joking.
J Bone, are you excited for this match? Do you think it's a draw?
So the way it's set up now, I think is a lot better than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because if you think back 2 years ago, it's kind of crazy to think. I think that the pandemic's aged just like by 5 years because it feels weird.
Back in my day.
2 years ago. Yeah.
We didn't have to wear the mask.
The only thing we were backing up. Never mind. So, if you remember, Goldberg beat the Fiend to win the Universal title. Big outright.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Roman was getting dog food thrown on him, literally.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was expecting it. So you had babyface Roman, boring, and then Goldberg, who just crushed the Fiend.
Yep.
So having that match was not very exciting. However, this time around, one thing, it's not at Mania, so fans are going to be like, okay, well, at least it's not at Mania. It's in Saudi Arabia. And you got a heel Roman going up against babyface Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we don't see his stupid fucking kid, then I'm good. So
I forgot about that. Jeez.
Just a quick note, because I think it's really interesting, and I always wonder, like, that's one of the biggest what ifs of the last few years is if we got that match, because I remember so vividly. It was one of the last SmackDowns before the pandemic hit, and they had to go to the Performance Center or whatever.
Yep.
Goldberg came out and he was booed, like it actually booed.
Oh yeah,
with the title, and Roman comes out and him still getting his mixed reaction from the crowd, full cheers for Roman here. So would they go the route of like a heel Goldberg and a face Roman? I don't, obviously not this time around, but like I'm talking about like in 2020, like would they go in that route? Like that's one of the biggest what ifs. I think we never know, but
I
think there's more interest here, if anything, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and preview this for next week. I mean, I expect Roman to win. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a super exciting match, but I'm a little bit more interested than I was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the joke will be on us when we see Goldberg and Brock for the Unified Championship and
Oh, man.
WrestleMania. But
Wow.
Guest referee by Hulk Hogan.
no, no, guest referee by Austin. Come on, let's keep canon here. WrestleMania 20. Come on now.
Oh yeah, run it back. Run it back.
Let's talk a little bit about Raw because Marco, I've heard that you wanted to say some stuff about Becky Lynch.
Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, they had the you skipped over that part when you were doing like kind of like the review. You had Lita comes out. Lita and Becky Lynch there in the ring, because they're obviously building up the match for Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out why. I'm watching Becky Lynch talk, right?
Yep.
And we talked about this earlier with the tweener thing.
Should I hit the button?
I'm not sure if this is really a hot take at all, but I think I figured out why me personally don't take her seriously.
Okay.
Because she tries to act tough.
Yes.
Like she tries she does that thing with the mouth like this, like she scrunches her mouth up, and then she's like yelling into the mic about how Lita was her hero, blah blah blah. And that whole thing kind of played into that tweener thing we talked about. It was just like, you're the heel. You're not supposed to be yelling at Lita about how, you looked up to her and all this stuff. You're supposed to be talking down to her. And the other thing is she just doesn't I just don't take her seriously as a tough person at all. That's literally what it is. Like like I said, maybe just me, but I can't.
No.
The way she speaks, the way she cuts her promos, she doesn't come off as tough to me at all. And I feel like I'm like badgering Becky Lynch for the past 2 weeks.
I mean,
I don't know why, but for some reason, I think it's more of like the seeds were planted when she came back and kind of derailed Bianca Belair's push. That's where I think my kind of like my hatred is coming from. I don't want to use the word hatred, but dislike for Becky Lynch. But now, like they took that opportunity to like make her a heel, right? And it doesn't seem like she's doing that. And we spoke about this earlier. You can't put it all on WWE to make things happen. Like you have to make us hate you, and she's not doing that. I don't think she can do that. That's the other thing. I don't think she can. I don't think her personality is a heel. I don't think she's I don't think she has a mean bone in her body. Personally,
I'm 1,000,000% agree with you, Marco.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
She doesn't come off as tough or scary, and there's a reason why Ronda Rousey didn't. Imagine that match happened. Imagine if Ronda Rousey did pick Becky Lynch at Mania. You know how awful those promos would be? Like there would be no excitement whatsoever. Like,
Ronnie, you weirdo.
Ronnie, like the whole Ronnie thing. Like, you need someone like Charlotte Flair. Like Ronda Rousey needs Charlotte Flair to carry that match all the way. Not the match itself, but like, the storyline up to it.
Yep.
Because Charlotte's gold on the mic. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lita, they throw Lita in with Becky Lynch because Lita's more like she's better on the mic than Becky Lynch. So she's to me, she's carrying this program essentially. And like I said, it just kills me to watch Becky Lynch now try to be a heel. It's eating me on the inside to watch.
Here's
It's awful.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Here's a hot take. Go ahead, hit it.
Oh, hold on.
Boom.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Big Time Bex and the man character are all the same person.
Yeah.
She's just wearing a costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing different about the man and Big Time Bex.
I'll say this: the man character towards the end of like the man's run was more along the lines of the Big Time Bex, because that's when she started like with the sunglasses and the fucking
and the fucking fucks.
It seems like she's it seems like we see this gimmick already. Someone else is doing the crazy outfits and the the over the top personality, and that's Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that gimmick? I understand. Obviously, they're
I wonder
they're married, but like
I wonder if they share closets.
that's what I don't get. Like I mean, like I said, I could take like Seth Rollins. I like love his gimmick. Love what he's doing. I think he's playing into like who because he isn't that guy. Like if you ever watch him in interviews,
Yeah,
he's not like the smarmy like cackling that guy.
Right.
He's like very laid back, chill, like just kind of like seems like very boring. So now he's like they give him this like character, like now he can play into it more. Like, hey, I'm not like this in real life, and it shines through. You can see like he's having fun with it.
The idea of
suits.
Becky and Seth sharing a closet is just so funny to me. Like the fucking colors that are probably in that.
Oh man, it's
Becky, where's my suit?
Oh my god! But yeah, it's Becky, man. I mean, I love Becky Lynch too. That's the other thing. If there's any Becky Lynch fans out there, I do love Becky Lynch. I just don't like the position she's in right now, and it's really showing her weakness. To me, it's showing all her weaknesses now.
Boney, say that again.
I've never been a Becky Lynch fan, to be honest with you.
I don't blame you.
Like I think she's been overrated.
I think she's the worst of the 4 horsewomen. I think that's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's gotta be.
I think she's very overrated.
And here's the thing about Becky is that like I talked earlier about the whole tweener thing and how much the WWE can really put into that, and it's left up to the fans. But when you're not conveying that well,
yep,
and taking what the WWE gives you and doing it well, that's a whole nother story. I think that's a good example that we didn't bring up before was Becky Lynch, because she's getting the material. It's just the fact that she's not being able to convey it properly, because with this gimmick and, however they decide to write her or whatever, they could present Becky Lynch as a heel. They did it in the early stages of the man gimmick. She was bad-mouthing Edge, bad-mouthing Charlotte, all of this. It was working great. John Cena, when they are able to give her good material, she can be a heel with the right content. But the fact of the matter is, she's taking what they're giving her and somehow making it just not good. She's not a heel. She's not like someone that I'm hating. I would honestly go as far as to say,
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
is it safe to say that she has go away heat?
Yeah,
I would say it.
Go away heat's not bad,
It's not bad,
maybe,
but like in this context, like I'm thinking of like like a Baron Corbin. I'm trying to think of like a good recent example, like a Baron Corbin or like a Seth Rollins in 2019.
But those two characters, like that was good go away. She's just boring.
That's what I was going to say that, but it's like I said, I think it's what happened was they put her in that weird position where she came in and just kind of derailed someone's like their stardom almost. Like,
yeah,
what's Bianca Belair doing right now? I mean, obviously she's in the Elimination Chamber match, but like
they killed. I don't want to say they killed Bianca Belair, but they killed her steam, and that's it's. I'm with you. It's really aggravated the piss out of me.
And I thought that they were going to let her win at Elimination Chamber, but like the 6th woman is something to keep in mind. And actually, we might as well talk about this. There's a mystery 6th woman in this Elimination Chamber match. Who are your guesses? Or do we want to save? I mean, I don't know if we should save it for next week because they might reveal it. But I guess, what's your thought process right now?
Alundra Blaze.
Alundra Blaze.
Oh man,
Trish Stratus. Might as well go all in on this. I just think it's so strange that we live in a world right now where we could be walking into WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Lita, and Charlotte Flair as your world champions. Just if all things go according to plan.
Yeah,
those could be your champions.
Strange times.
J-Bone, who do you think?
Yeah, he's like, I give up. I give up on this.
Who do you think?
He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
I'm gonna go with Naomi.
Naomi. All right.
I can see that.
Might as well.
Yeah, I can.
What is she doing now that the whole Sonya feud is over?
Yeah.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, is it over?
Is it over? That
Or
too.
actually, Tyson's got brought up a good point. Maybe Bailey.
Bailey? True.
Or
Asuka.
Asuka's a good one, but yeah, I mean,
Bailey. Another Bailey. A
it's
lot
for
of
the
Baileys.
it's for the Raw Women's Champion, right? That's who you get to face if you win.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I'm
could be
going
Asuka.
Asuka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could be Asuka. I was thinking Bailey, but she's on SmackDown.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't do a call up here. I don't think you do a surprise guest like a who even is there? Like who's
Could be
someone in the Rumble?
Is Carmella in it already? I think
Carmella is one of your tag team champions. So
I mean, they could throw her in there. I mean, they do love Carmella, so
They could. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, like, as
Like-
far as like a legend, like, Nikki Bella, like,
Ooh, I mean,
I would love to
that'd be pretty
see
cool.
Michelle McCool. I mean, she looks great.
Bull
always.
Nakano. Let's bring
Bull
back Bull
Nakano.
Nakano.
Oh my god.
Bertha Faye.
Britt Baker. Let's. The Saudi crowd's gonna go crazy for some DMD.
Nikita Lyons, that's going to be her debut. She'll
Oh,
actually show up
shit.
at the Elimination Chamber.
Keep that same energy with me. Keep that same. God damn it! What is he wearing? I thought you were wearing some type of glasses or something.
It's like the guy from Star Trek, Cyclops. I'm out. I'm done.
Show's going off the rail, pals. Let's get back on track with some.
I feel like doing the Jeff Hardy dance on that song.
There you go.
Quick update on Jeff Hardy. Apparently, he declined his Hall of Fame offer because he wanted to be inducted with Matt, and it was only going to be a single Hall of Fame induction.
Makes sense to me.
And also, I read that I think he has a non-compete clause as well.
Does he?
So
Until
scratch-
March.
Yeah, you can scratch him from the
Until
from tomorrow night on AEW. Yeah.
J-Bone, what was your match of the week?
So I'm actually gonna. There was actually a lot of good stuff this week. I'm allowed to say.
Yeah.
True.
Something I found very entertaining this week. Wasn't a big match. Was definitely not like technical, but I love the story in this match. The Miz versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
Good.
It got
pick.
me.
Good
Got me very intrigued where they're gonna head with this. So hopefully it's leading to Mysterio versus Mysterio.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
Getting some new drops.
I can't wait.
Chad is just sitting in the back, and he Chad is just making these, and he's going.
I enjoy destroying lives.
He's just destroying
The show's-
destroying the show, but in the best way possible.
The show's literally just going to be us laughing at drops all
Yeah.
this week. We're not
Yes.
going to get to any wrestling at all.
My my video clips folder is just going to be vroom.
I can't
with
wait.
Drops. It's the best thing. It's the best thing. Great pick, by the way, Dom and
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch the match or don't know about it, so they had the Miz TV segment, and they kind of Bray called. It was just I don't know. It was just Miz is so underrated. He's so freaking good.
No,
He called Miz a cheater, and he just took that to heart. Like, I'm a cheater. I'm a cheater. And kind of just went into that mode. And Dominic said, "Look, you need to have respect for my dad." They kind of got into it a little bit, and I love this line. Miz goes, "You know something, Dominic? I noticed something. You're quite a bit taller than your dad. Maybe your dad is Eddie Guerrero." And like that incensed Ray and Dominic had to separate them.
brutal. Just
Call
brutal.
back.
And it was some good, like, last week they had a match which was at the time you think it was a throwaway match, and then they kind of redo it, but they do it in a good way where where Maurice messed up or tripped Dominic, that distracted the ref, and then the Miz gets tripped by Ray. That allows Dominic to buy some time, roll up for the win. Like you said, was it like a 5-star classic? Absolutely not.
No.
And just great storytelling, and that's something that I've been impressed with WWE. They've really done some pretty good storytelling in the last couple of weeks.
I'm excited to see where Dom and Ray go from here for WrestleMania. I don't know. Honestly, I really want to choose that match too, now that you've kind of given that explanation, because I didn't even think about that. I was going to go for Austin Theory and Kevin Owens.
That's a solid match too.
I was, 2 weeks in a row. I think I picked them last week. I'll probably go for them this week as well. You can't go wrong. I think Austin Theory hasn't had a bad match ever since coming up to the roster.
Solid.
This guy, there's a move I saw. I was so impressed by it. So you know how like they kind of do that little flip into the ring, like kind of like a tumble kind of deal.
Yeah. Between the ropes, that type of
yeah.
He landed on his back. He landed on his back, and then from a laying position, jumped up and did a drop kick, and like a perfect drop kick.
He's good. He's really
he
good.
Is. Yeah.
He's athletic, and I think watching that, it was tough for me to pick that one though, because man, he got over with me on that match. Honestly, Austin,
I'm not surprised that Vince is kind of priming him for a big spot. I think he needs something else. I can't quite put my finger on it yet.
Personality.
Yeah, he needs to build up that character a little more. The selfies aren't going to cut it, but for now, I mean, like they got something with him. I think he's gonna be something. Marco, what was your match of the week?
So I had two. The KO Austin Theory. I think they just worked really, really well together. Right. Definitely like that match that they had a week ago too, where Austin Theory got the win to get into the Elimination Chamber. That match was awesome as well. I think did I pick that as my match of the week? Maybe not, but so this week another Raw match. I'm gonna go with AJ Styles and Damian Priest.
Sure.
I forgot about that one. That was great too.
That match was, phenomenal. Like, no pun intended. Another like great outing by Damian Priest. You can put AJ Styles in the ring with anybody right now, and that match is going to be gold. He kind of reminds me of like a modern day like Bret Hart. Like you would throw Bret Hart in there with like Bash and Booger, and it would be like at least a 3-star match if he wanted it to be.
That's a good point.
And it's the same thing with AJ Styles. Like you literally can put him in the ring with anybody, and that match is going to be awesome because he's going to play. He's going to do his stuff. He's going to get his move set off, but at the same time, he's going to let the other guy get their move set off, and that's what I think. Like all these matches that we're talking about is why they're our matches of the week, because each match everyone plays to their abilities.
Yeah.
No one was outshining anybody on these matches. Like Miz was letting Dominic Mysterio, be the younger guy, get his stuff in. Miz was doing the Miz stuff, cheating and doing all that stuff. Austin Theory, like you said, he got to showcase that off his back drop kick. Like come on now. And obviously KO's amazing as well. Obviously Raw won the week. We don't even have to say who won the week essentially, but just those matches in general, like just to play what J-Bone said. The matches have been like pretty like not stellar, but decent across the board.
I think they've been pretty great. I've been actually sitting there like watching them instead of just like passively watching. Another match we didn't talk about though too is it's Rollins versus Riddle. Like,
exactly, the first time since their hatred for each other in real life. That one-on-one match, which ended up turning into a tag team. But that match was I was looking forward to that too. I wish they didn't turn into a tag team.
I know.
Match. It was longer, but yeah, man, Raw's. As much as we shit on Raw like earlier this year and how bad it's been gaining ground.
Yeah, man.
As far as the matches go, we'll say not anything else, not the outside segments and we're not going to talk about Alexa Bliss and the Doctor, and we're not going to talk about the 24/7 championship, none of that stuff. And Veer never showing up ever. He's never going to show. I don't think
Unsend Veer.
Listen. Veer's gonna make it, but first,
Jesus Christ, I think maybe we need a little work there.
just a little bit. All right. It's time to answer the age-old question.
Who won the week?
We got two pills, blue and red. J-Bone, which one are we taking?
Man, by leaps and bounds, Raw won. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Marco,
I'm
blue or red?
yeah. No, I'm gonna agree, man. With the 3-hour thing, it was kind of like a drag almost, but they're putting on a lot of great matches now. So I mean, they're kind of making it entertaining to watch. If you're a wrestling fan and you want to see those matches, you definitty Raw is the
but also they're even doing good stories.
Yeah.
I hate to even say the Quiz Bowl thing. I kind of found it a little entertaining.
The Quiz Bowl's a little funny.
They make it work. They have the talent to make it work.
It's Riddle, man. Riddle's funny. Randy Orton just being with Riddle and his facial expressions. It's good. Yeah, even Tyson. Says Raw
Tyson also says. I will also go ahead and I will say that Raw won the week. A lot of great stuff on the show. I tuned into Raw more than I did to SmackDown. But, man, all the storytelling, all these great matches, it really makes you just look at SmackDown. And it really just makes you say, damn! We've got a good show in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, just a really good show. And, I think I'm going to have to pick Raw as well. But SmackDown is definitely in more of a building process, I'd say, right now. You have a lot of, starting stories, especially considering the fact that they basically hold both WrestleMania main events right now. So building around they announced them really early on. So I wonder what they're going to do to kind of fill out that time. It's very early booking for WWE, but we're just going to have to see. Yeah. But with that being said, it's time to end the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode. And you know what? There's a new feature on StreamYard, so I want to try it out. Little outro music, why don't we? Might as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in so much to today's show. Boney, plug Coming Down the Aisle. Where can we find you?
Coming Down the Aisle. I'm sorry, you got to say take the music on. It's very distracting.
I'll lower it a
little. Coming down the aisle this week, we've got Matt Balk. He was actually the designer of the Smoking Skull belt.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yes. So he talks about that. We watch Raw. We watch Austin versus Rock Backlash 2000. Backlash 99. And check out Free the Fig, Unboxed Wardlow, Unboxed Cowboy Bob Orton. Whenever I get my Unrivaled Unmatched 3, I'll be unboxing those as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
Marco, where are we finding the Chick Foley Show?
We are finding at chickfoleyshow.com. $2 a month gets you in the group. The probably the greatest group of people known to man. Drama free. The drama free group, we like to call it. There hasn't been. I haven't seen one fight in there once, and if it has, I didn't. It probably just it was probably something stupid. And that's pretty much it. But chickfoleyshow.com. Obviously the MVP Marco on all platforms, so Twitter, IG. Chick Foley Show on Twitter. You have Chick Foley on IG. Follow us there. Pod Foundation, obviously, to get all your up to date news and whatever shows are happening. I mean, a majority of it is Turnbuckle. So buy a shirt too. Give Turnbuckle money. Buy one of my shirts.
There you go.
Give those guys money. All right.
Hey,
100%.
shout out to our Pod Foundation friend, Extra Cooler, with that sick jacket. Go check out Chalk Lines.
Yeah, that's who.
Sir.
Yeah. And also we also on Teespring we have a new shirt up. It's the Chick Foley Show AEW. Themed, everything. So like sweater, t-shirts, tumblers, Teespring literally puts your logo on anything you think of. So
Nice.
yeah, head to Teespring.
Love Teespring.
Get you a shirt.
Plus, you can tune in this Sunday to the next episode of Classic Match Classroom. Myself and the professor will be reviewing Sting versus Vader in the White Castle strap match from Super Bowl 92 or 93.
I think you're right.
I
think it's 93.
Yeah,
93.
haven't seen any of it. Haven't seen any of the videos that come with it. I hear there's a lot to dissect there. So
that's a good one.
It's going to be a good episode. Make sure you tune in. Follow at Classic Match Classroom on Instagram, at CM Classroom on Twitter for all updates on future episodes. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think now is the perfect time to play the outro music. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning into yet another edition of the Classic Match Classroom. If you enjoyed what you heard or enjoyed what you saw, make sure to go over to the Turnbuckle to find all things Turnbuckle Tavern. Support in any way that you can. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and leave a like on the video. It goes a long way. If you're in the comments right now, if you're watching, and there's 7 of you right now, thank you so much for tuning in. Please, please, please drop a like and a comment before you go. It goes a long way. I guarantee it. Plus, make sure, just as the MVP Marco said, go ahead and support the tavern with your monies. Give us some monies. Now on Teespring, the turnbuckletavern.com, you can get the official RAWDOWN logo on some mugs and shirts and all of the different places where you can put a logo. Plus, ProWrestlingTees.com/tavern gets you some more specific shirts, such as Hollywood Tony, Boney Schiavone, the MVP Marco. All of these guys, all of us have some amazing merch. You definitely want to go check it out. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. We will see you next week, where we will be giving you our Elimination Chamber predictions. But until then, take care, spike your hair, woo, woo, woo.
You know it.